Aloha mai kako, everyone. Welcome to the Moana Nui podcast and today's episode of Mana Bombs. My name is Moana, and today, as always, I'm joined by Tita Kanoipani.
Uy, aloha mai kako. Wau'o Kanoilani Davis of Mana Bombs and Pomahina Designs. Welcome to my kitchen. It's a beautiful Sunday. We are improvising and podcasting from my home. So mahalo and welcome into my space. Really looking forward to doing this Mana Bomb with you folks. Moana, what did we choose for today?
Alrighty. So today's Mana Bomb is you don't need to have a love life to love life.
Yeah, this is for all of us who are constantly seeking outside validation. These are the ones who need to feel worthy and needed by others in order to function properly in life for themselves and their families and their jobs. I just wanted to remind folks, like if you can get into your body and just love your life for all the goods, the bads, being appreciative, seeing the lessons within all of these trials and tribulations we go through, we don't have to constantly seek outside validation. But it's understandable. And I'll share why I can deeply empathize and understand that. I was married once upon a time, a very, very, very long time ago. And I remember after my divorce, being married for so long, there was this deep need of not wanting to be desired, but questioning what was wrong with you. Right? I was like, okay, what I did wrong? What's wrong with me? Am I not good enough? Am I not beautiful enough? Am I not worthy enough? Was I not a good partner? And I'm pretty sure one of those was the answer. But for the most part, you go inside and you start to question your whole entire being. Some of us will question that looking for the answer, and some of us will question that and looking for the answer outside. And so majority, I'm not gonna lie, majority of the people I know have all looked for it outside. Probably 99% of the people I know, they did their thing, and especially if you're married for a very long time, it was like, that kind of life. And I get it. I watched folks go through that. I think for me, it was definitely I think there was this seeking for am I worthy? Am I good enough? Will I ever be good enough? And so I was always looking for that external validation at the beginning from men, but ironically, I didn't date. I just was looking to see if I was even worthy. Did I catch your eye? Or you like me? Or you go out? No, I'm good. But that was because of a lot of other past things. I didn't need to give up my body in order for me to feel validated. I just want to know that you was checking out. Sounds good enough for me. But I think what happens is those who go into that realm of looking for that validation for others, which is fine. There is some health in that. There is healthiness in that. What's toxic is you get stuck in it. Yeah. And so then now you're with, I'm gonna only speak as a woman, and the ones I've witnessed, you're with men after men or women after women, and then eventually you're just chasing at this point, and you've not been able to sit down with yourself to address maybe some of the things that you yourself need to work on. And in the meantime, I always say this, time is moving. If you have kids, your kids are witnessing all of these things. They're growing up. They're seeing that as normal. They're seeing that as regular. They're watching emotional ups and downs, these moments where you really like somebody, they don't like you anymore. Now you're back trapped in that space of what happened when you got divorced or when you broke up in a relationship. You put yourself in these cycles of this need to validate and this need. So now instead of living this life of maybe perhaps your own goals, your own dreams, or even just being with your children and, making your house solid, elevating your job and your career goals, instead of doing those things, we tend to just kind of constantly chase for a love life. Cause love makes me feel good. Love makes everybody feel good and but I don't want to go through the pain. Then there's that other side of, I don't trust. I don't talk to nobody. There's an unhealthy side of that too. I think in this particular Mana Bomb, it was addressing the chasers, because I see it a lot. And I see how it consumes people's lives. And I even see that it consume their life. Not only consume their life, but I see them make excuses that are like literally just going, how is that even valid? But that's what holds them back. And so, excuse me. And so some of those things keep coming up, and I wish I could just stop them and go, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Let's refocus. Let's get us back. I want to share an eho my moment. This is like a Moana bomb that was just recently dropped on me recently. Driving home, I think it was yesterday. I was driving home, and this thought came in my brain, and it was like, we do not seek love. We seek trust. And I went, boom. Because what's the difference between love and trust? Trust creates the security we need. We're looking for partners that we can put our trust into. We look for partners who will not hurt us. We look for partners who will provide or support us in some way, shape, or form. We're looking for that trust.
Mm-hmm.
With that trust can come this other feeling of love. And I was like, people got it mixed up. That's what happened. We're not seeking love. We're seeking trust. But the problem is as we seek trust outside of us, it's evident we do not have trust within ourselves. So if we're not loving ourselves and we're not trusting ourselves, there's no way that we could do that with others. Then the self-sabotaging comes into play. Then all the things that happen to us that we blame others for comes into play. All these things happen. And at the end of the day, trust is security. Security makes us feel safe. That safety is what we seek, because somewhere along the line, whether it be our own parents or our partners, we've lost that. Ironically, because we're chasing, we're doing that to our partners and we're doing that to our children. So while instead of breaking these generational habits, we're continuing them. And we don't even know it, because we ourselves didn't take the time to reflect, to say, I'm not that person, or I am that person.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to look at living life and loving life first before we can ever find the love of our lives. That was my Moana bomb.
Yeah, no, and I think that is such deep ike in what you just said, because it is true. Like, we do want that trust, but sometimes that, especially with the way, like, if you let society dictate, like all the stuff that we get fed, right? Like, oh, love and this, and you gotta have this or you gotta have that. But it is very true. Like, if you don't love yourself, it's really hard for you to find somebody who's gonna love you, because you're not even seeing it correctly. Like, it's like you get dirty glasses on. And then I think, like, I'm pretty sure you know about this, but like, especially I can see this being really hard for somebody who, if you're, the 5 love languages, if your love language is like words of affirmation and, stuff like that, like, then you're going to always be seeking like somebody telling you, because that's how you feel like you are loved. But I think that's where, that reflection is really important. It's hard though. It's hard to sit with yourself and just be like trying to figure out like what needs to be corrected or, changed within your own self, because it's easier to go and, like point the finger outwards. But that's kind of, one of those things where you always, if you're pointing to somebody, how much fingers pointing back at you, right? And so, yeah, that is so true. Trust is so important. It's hard, especially because it's so easy to break trust. Like, it takes forever to build it, but once someone like breaks the trust, it's hard to get it back. And so I think that's why people are guarded, maybe even with themselves.
Yeah, because really, what you're saying is you put too much trust in somebody else that you weren't paying attention or even accepting the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That at the end of the day, you lost trust in yourself. So it's not that you lost trust in others.
Yeah,
you lost trust in yourself. You don't know how to make good decisions. You don't know how to accept the truth when it's in front of you. You don't know how to pivot. That therein lies the problem, not the other person. Because the second I see that the way a person is acting, who is different from their words, their actions is different from their words, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can accept that. No matter how much I love you, I can accept that. But see, because I know my truth and I know, but I will walk away. Even if I don't want to. But I already see you. I already know how you operate. It's very manipulative. And it's not like something where I think here's the problem, right? I was in my last toxic relationship was literally a narcissist and a gaslighter. I mean, I question everything. I literally questioned my whole entire being because I was like, I couldn't tell what I was up and down. When you're with a narcissist and a gaslighter,
Yes.
you absolutely know the difference between somebody who just lying to you or deceiving you. Very different, very toxic, and especially a cheater. And it was this thing about like, okay, give that person a chance. Let them figure it out. But eventually you get sucked into this space and you can't get out. You've invested way too much. You went too far. You went too deep. Right? And so now you just made it harder for you to get the hell out.
Yes.
Right? And so that's the problem. I think we do that with friendships. We do that with relationships. I think the hardest one is even not just relationships, but even family members too, yeah, is when that trust is broken. It's like you cannot really leave your family, but honestly, you can. You don't have to invest everything looking for them to validate you, looking for them to want to be with, to hang out with you. Like, you don't need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough, but sometimes those are the spaces you gotta make space and you gotta create distance. Yeah. Oh, that's the hardest one though, because I think for most people that's assuming that they've grown up with healthy environments, like that's kind of where you would expect that safety and that trust to be. But sometimes it's not. And I think sometimes we got to remember that if we're not getting it, sometimes people cannot give to you what they never had in the first place. And so we shouldn't look to those sources for like what we're trying to look for, because it's never going to happen until they get their own healing, and then they can again become a safe space for you to trust again.
Well, you said it at the beginning. You expected. That was the first problem.
Back to that out of Mana bomb expectations.
Stop at the beginning. That's the problem. You expected it, and so now you're disappointed, and so you put it on top of it. Parents. I'll talk about parents because we, as children, we look to our parents as not a hierarchy, but they are the people that were placed to take care of us physically, mentally, and spiritually, so that we could grow and nothing would harm us. Now, it didn't mean controlling, and it didn't mean overprotecting, but it also didn't mean that they were God. It also didn't mean they got their shit together.
Right.
It also didn't mean, they had to know it all. It just meant they were supposed to safeguard you. What they didn't get taught was that, like, the decisions they make affect many. That's the problem. And not that they intended to affect the other ones, because they were just trying to figure themselves out.
Right.
They were just trying to get their feet on the ground. But the problem, so now this is what I was telling you. Time doesn't stop for anybody. So as they're trying to get their feet on the ground, these babies are growing bigger and bigger, and they're seeing things. And they're thinking this is regular. Now these babies are adults. They have their own children. Now we're, again, generational. Boom, 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 boom. And so, that's why it's okay if we got to find our grounding, but we got to move at an exponential speed because you have kuleam. Unfortunately, you made the choice to have children, or maybe you didn't, but they're here. You need to get it together sooner, not later. You don't have all your life because you're going to miss out on a lot of good times. You're going to miss out on a lot of junk times. You're also going to miss out on the fact that these kids needed you just as much as you need yourself. And then they have to learn those lessons on their own. So, and I say that because my two older ones had to deal with that person. I got two chances. My two younger ones got a better me when I figured it out. God. I'm not saying not the best, but I'm saying they got a better version of me than my two older ones. My two older ones, poutine for me, because I didn't mess them up. But, at the end of the day, it's like, don't miss that chance. Don't miss that chance. Yeah. So, yeah, the expectation too. That's what happens even with bosses and people in teams, relationships. Yeah, men's supposed to be doing this, women's supposed to be doing that, and it's like, can we just get it done? Like, I don't care. I'm also a different beast, so it's probably a little bit different for me than most people. But I wish I could be the girly girl that just points, and I can't. I am a very team player, so it's like, let's just get it done. Let's get it done. Then we can cuddle, or we can go to the
We can do whatever. Yeah.
we can do whatever together. So, but not everybody thinks about that because we're very self-centered instead
Yeah.
of centering self. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a hard one. The being a team player, because I'm pretty much the same way too. And I think a lot of people, well, I think maybe every person could be a better version of themselves if perhaps it didn't matter who got the credit and it just got done.
Yeah.
So that we can all move forward, right? Like maybe if it just got done, then we don't have to be arguing. Like, that stuff doesn't matter. Let's just get to the good part, right? Like, okay, we all got a hana, we all got to work, we got to do our part. But like, let's get to the fun part of life. But we got to take care of the kuleana first. Yeah. And I see this play out in relationships. I see it play out at work. And, like, especially like from where I'm at, and I see the politics, and I'm like, bro, if it really would just not care who got the credit, we would be so much further ahead. And maybe we could actually be doing some new stuff, some actual evolution of, like whatever the heck it is, whether it's personal life or work life or whatever, let's just do and get it done and keeps it moving. Like,
there's an opposite side to that too. Let's talk about that other side. So like, I get that side, right? That ego side, that gotta have credit. Remember, that's the person who is seeking, if it's not love, it's validation externally so that they feel better about themselves. Okay. It's all the same. Just change the content, change the players. Same information. But what we don't talk about is the ones who sit back. So like the kids, that's what I can think of. The kids, because I'm a mama. But like the kids, and like, because the majority of my friends who go through it, have kids. But like, even for a team, you always have the quiet ones who just follow directions, and then you have the ones that gotta have all of the glitz and glory, but yet they're the overthinkers and they can't make up their mind and they don't know what the hell they're doing. And then you have the silent ones who just know what they're doing and they're like, I'm not trying to get into it, right? Just to the but in the meantime, while all this crap is happening over here, shit is going down. Like you're awake, you're closer to the deadline. You're procrastinating at this point. You're wasting time. Like stuff got to get done. So talking about the other person, right? There's going to be those people who want to just jump in, right? They want to just get it done. Yeah. Because they know, like, but there's fear in that, especially in the workplaces. I feel like it's being a quote unquote, I don't want to say boss, but like I have to be a boss, but like being in a position, it's very hard. Very hard. I don't think people see that. But in workplaces, it's also very hard because you don't want to step on toes because that could be your job. Yep. Right. And then at the end of the day, if you did push through and everybody succeeded, they'll look at you and be like, thank goodness it got done. But if you failed, it's you and the whole team that going to have to deal with the problems. And nobody wants to take on that consequence. That's so like, true. Imagine the kids who just who want to tell their parents, like, stop. So my daughter, my number 3, I remember because she was witnessing me be in this very toxic relationship. My family sucked because no matter how much I told them about this toxic relationship, they still hang with these people to this day. And so that's why I like family-wise, I will not even go over there because they choose that person over me because they don't want to get into it. Right. Right. Meanwhile, that person has already abused myself and my daughters, their nieces and their sister. But the friendship they have because they don't want to get into it is more important. So now that space has been created. But and no mind, like when I see my family, I still aloha them. Like that's fine. That doesn't change my love for my family. I just changes when I like hang out with them. And usually it's around major holidays. I'm not around with them because they choose them to be there and I will not be there. And so like in these instances, I think one of the biggest things is I forgot my point. That one took up my brain. That one took me back. Trigger. Thank you. How I feel right now. Anyways, back it off. But those people that, the people that just want to get it done. Yeah. My daughter had witnessed all of this. And you know what she did? She came up to me and she told me, Mom, she hugs me as I'm crying because we just went through an episode, like brother left, made any kind, yelling at me. Like in the middle of the night, comes in, she hugs me. And she goes, Mom, I love you. You deserve better than this. You're a great mom. You're a good woman. Like she came and consoled me. My daughter. And I was like, And I needed to hear that. And that shows the strength of children who are younger than you.
Mm-hmm.
It shows the strength of those who love you and want the best for you. And if you can't listen to your children when they are the ones telling you, stop, we need you back, then you're never going to even listen to the words that are in your own head.
Mm.
Because if you are there as a parent to malama your keiki, and you can't listen to them, cry for help, how are you going to listen to yourself? So I thank her for those moments where she just held me and she was just like, wipe your tears, mom. It's going to be okay. So she's kind of tough like me too. So she's always like, knock it off. So, and it's like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will listen to my kids, especially when they're kicking me in the ass. I will listen to them because it takes a lot of guts for them to do that.
To say that, yeah.
That's like the voices in the team who just want to get it done.
Yeah.
But also don't want to get in the way. Like there's somebody stealing the show.
Mm-hmm.
Stealing. Not leading. Stealing.
Yeah. And that is hard for Kiki to, especially just the, the natural parent-child relationship is hard to say that, but I don't know if it's like when our parents are getting older and they, somehow are kind of becoming the children and now we'd be taking on more the parent roles, like, wow, stop. Malama yourself now, especially, and it's hard for people who are generous too, I think, with their time, their mana, their energy, all of that. It's hard for them to turn it off and know that, like, wait, it's not being reciprocated. Why am I still going? Just let me just be happy with myself. I don't have to, be giving all the time.
That's your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And believe that.
Yeah, 100%. I love your daughters for doing that for you. Love it. And it's important.
Yeah. And I mean, I've watched children talk to their parents who are being literally physically abused.
Mm.
And the parents still go back. And the kids still continue to witness. And then the kids will grow up feeling like their voice was never valued. And I didn't want that for my daughter. I wanted to remind her how powerful she is.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect that. I think one of the biggest things too, like how you had just mentioned in those cases, I think with older folks, as we get older, I should say, we get set in our ways.
Yep.
A lot of the times there's this fear as children of losing our family members because of the extent of energy they give outwardly. Because we know we're going to have to help. We probably going to be the ones helping to clean that up at the end. And I'm going to tell you from who was raised by my grandparents and a 90-year-old woman who still goes in the ocean to go holo holo for in the middle of the night. Like I said, 7 miles in the water, I'm not exaggerating. I accept who she is. I let her go. I mean, shit, I got to be there, but that's the least I could do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell her what to do. I'm not going to act like I'm going to carry her stuff. She need help, I will pick it up. But if grandma pick up her own damn heavy ass bucket, she can pick it up her damn self, because that's what drives her to feel as if she's important.
Yeah.
That's what actually keeps her living.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a cow. I see her hunt. Oh, I'm right there. Boom, give me that. Knock it off. Get in the water. Go. Hurry up. Let's go. We're not going to stop, but now my eyes got to be extra. But I think part of that is just we get settled in our ways that we forget sometimes. That's the kilo we have to do, the observations, and that's their battery. That's their mana pack.
Definitely. Yeah, and that's the thing that you don't want to take away from people, the stuff that gives them life, 100%. Let them be, that part, that's the healthy part. Don't take that away, especially with our elders who are, I was watching my auntie, so it's like my auntie's mom who's 97 and, she's still going, and it's so beautiful. You see, the parts of themselves that are still there, even though when they're battling, dementia and stuff, but you can still see she smile, it's the little things that still makes her so happy. So yeah, I love life for her.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what got her this far.
Yeah.
Of life, and she had boundaries and she made those things happen. We cannot stop the inevitable. Some of these things just gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it's cool that we're talking about from keiki to makua to puna. We're talking about relationships into the workspace. At the end of the day, it's you. right? Not worry about everybody else.
Worry about yourself.
Just worry about your damn self. Yeah, staying in it. And I think, and it's not as hard as that is, because we feel like we have to be there to tell our kids what to do every single step of the way, or be there to tell our parents what to do every single step of the way, or be there to tell our friends the decisions that they're making is toxic. You cannot. That's their own problem. You get your own problem. Fix yours on first and then go help them. But until then, even after you fix your own problems, that's still not your problem. But what you are going to be is ready for when they fall.
Yes.
And if they have to fall 500 times, be ready for that. Or after the fifth time, you can just be like, fall on your own. I cannot anymore. And walk away. That's where you have to really accept the truth.
Yeah.
Because after that, you're going to be resentful and you're going to be very upset. And you can only blame yourself.
Yep. That's the difference, to know when is when, and knowing when you cannot change somebody. I think that's the key right there. Letting them learn from their own lessons.
Well, I think once you figure that out, when you walk in, you already know that. It's not when you learn it, is after you've learned it, because you're talking about it. How do you not do that over and over and over again? Yeah.
Right.
Keep the action. That's where the actions gotta match the words. The preaching gotta match the words. Yeah.
Definitely. Practice what you preach, sister. Practice what you preach.
Sometimes you gotta be your own ass kicker.
Yes, that's true. I'm gonna kick myself in the ass. I know I definitely do that. Like, get out of it. Get out of that funk.
Totally. Well, mahalo again for allowing me to do this Mana Bomb with you. I hope that helped folks out there to look at life, live life, love life. Don't go and seek and chase. Remember, we attract, we do not chase. And as these things come up, remember, time passes on. Time continues with or without you mentally, physically, or emotionally available already. They're moving. So move with the time. Figure it out. Take time to reflect. But you may have to also simultaneously, in practice, apply all of that reflection at the same time. So good luck out there.
Yeah, you got this.
You got this. Alrighty. Well, signing off from the island of Molokai Nui Ahina, I'm Kanoilani Davis of Mana Bombs, powered by Pomahina Designs.
And I am Moana from Moana Nui Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, share this mana'o with your ohana, your family, your friends, your community. And we will see you guys on the next segment. Take care, everybody. Ahui ho.
Hello.